Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming and being with us. My name is John Ebersol. I'm the president of Excelsior College in Albany, New York, and I will be starting us off this morning and coming back to you at Q&A time and working to help with the questions that you might have. Before we get into the meat of our presentation, I'd just like to go over a few things with you. We're going to be hearing from each of the individuals here at the table in front of me, just brief remarks before we go to questions. I also want to make you aware of what the President's Forum is. It's an annual gathering, which is in its fifth year, of institutions which are primarily adult-serving, national in focus, and encompassing and committed to the use of distance education as one of the methodologies, though not necessarily the exclusive methodology for those institutions. We have been coming together, as I say, for 5 years, primarily out of a desire to deal with common issues and concerns, whether regionally or nationally accredited, profit or not-for-profit. We find that we have many issues and concerns in common, and over the years we have found this a good opportunity for us to talk about various approaches to those issues and problems. This morning we have a few representatives in the audience from institutions that have become early signatories to this transparency by design process, and I'd like for you to know who the institutions are, and I would like to introduce the representative from that institution if they're here with us. Representing Charter Oak State College in Connecticut, Charter Oak is here with its president, Merrill Harris, and Merrill has been someone who's been very much involved with us with the Transparency by Design program since its inception, which has been more than a couple of years. Also would want you to know, and you'll be hearing much more from later, but Dr. Michael Offerman, the president of Capella, is here at the front table. Fielding Graduate University does not have a representative here, though we had expected one. Franklin is here, and Christopher, I believe, Christopher Washington, you're the chief academic officer, if I remember correctly. We have a number of representatives here from Kaplan University, headed up by the provost, David Kleinfelder, and David has been very active with us in the President's Forum for a number of years as well. Other institutions which have signed on to be a part of this initial effort include Regis University, Regis from Colorado, Rio Salada, a leading community college and one of the few community colleges that's worked with us, has a very active distance education program. Union University and Institute, Roger Sublett, not able to be with us this morning, but also someone who has been active with us. And Western Governors University, Bob Mendenhall, known to many of you, was a member of the Spellings Commission on the Future of Higher Education. Two non-academic, at least not in the traditional sort, but very valued members of our group and who have been supportive of us are EduVentures, education research firm from Boston, represented here by Richard Garrett, senior policy analyst, who you will also be hearing more from. Educational Testing Service, and I will be introducing David Payne from Educational Testing a little later in the program as well. I want to just say that the Transparency by Design initiative is one of several initiatives that have been launched by the President's Forum in the last couple of years. It's important for you to know that our interest in accountability and transparency predated the Secretary's report and the movement towards a concern over access, affordability, and accountability. It reflects the commitment of those institutions represented in the forum to learning through non-traditional approaches and to our understanding of our understanding of a need to demonstrate our outcomes. It's an issue for many of us of showing what it is that we're capable of doing using new technologies and new methodologies. And so it's a case where we have felt from early on that this was a proper direction for those of us with a national focus using distance education as a learning device. With that, by way of preamble, I'd like to now turn it over to Richard, who is going to talk to us a little bit about some macro factors that you should think about as we look at transparency by design in greater detail. Richard.
Thank you, John. As John said, my name is Richard Garrett. I'm a program director at EduVentures, which, as John said, is a research and consulting company based in Boston and specializing in education. I'm program director of EduVentures' online higher education program, which helps universities and colleges develop and grow online programming, much of which is aimed at adult students. We've been proud participants in discussions leading up to Transparency by Design, and we see Transparency by Design as a very helpful and timely initiative, and one which very much resonates with the research findings that we make available to our members. As John said, I'm just going to highlight some key trends and statistics which speak to the significance of adult students and distance education in higher ed in the United States. Adult students, defined as those aged 25 and over, make up 40% of students at degree-granting schools in the US, and over 1,400 schools, adults make up a majority of the student body. In recent years, adults have embraced distance learning, particularly online degrees and other programs of study. At EduVentures, we estimate that around 1.5 million students are taking a whole degree or other program online, which represents around 8.5% of all higher ed students. Most online students are adults. At EduVentures, we estimate that around 20% of adult students are now studying more or less 100% online, up from virtually zero 10 years ago. Online higher education is one of the fastest growing sectors of US higher education. The scale of adult higher education and the growth of online programming calls for a dedicated information and accountability initiative. The needs of adult learners, not least adults who want to study online, are distinct. Faced with literally hundreds of schools targeting adults and distance learning greatly expanding the choice available, adults deserve specific information and benchmarks to help them make informed decisions about which program to pursue and which school to attend. Transparency by Design also helps schools, offering a purpose-built framework to highlight program strengths and points of differentiation. At EduVentures, Transparency by Design resonates strongly with our ongoing research on adult students and online higher education markets, addressing the needs of both adult students and adult-serving schools, many of which are members of our programs. We look forward to helping Transparency by Design grow and playing our part in future discussions and implementation.